the smoke-filled clouds of the 303, all the way down to the 505. This is the Dro Bro Show with Remo Vinci, Grimx, and Soul Doja. Yeah, the Dro Bro Show.
Damn, you recorded that?
It takes a few seconds. Everybody, this is Mr. Vicious, Remo Vinci, and we are back with episode 16 of the Dro Bro Show. And as usual, I'm here with my fellow Dro Bros, Grimx and Soul Doja. Say what's cracking, my brothers.
What up, everybody? Back at it for another one. And we got a special one for you guys.
Yeah, we're in it again. In it to win it, like Davey Bennett.
And I gotta send out my apologies. I apologize for the lack of the episode last week. That was my fault. I was traveling. We were trying to make it happen. We tried to schedule it up a few times, but I kept fucking it up because of travel issues and whatnot. So we apologize for our tardiness last week, or our absence, I should say, last week. But we're back again, and like we were talking, like Doja was just saying, we got a special one for y'all today. Grim, you want to let them know what it is today?
So we're going to be talking about Quentin Tarantino. Honestly, so let's start off. His name is Quentin Jerome Tarantino. He was born March 27th, 1963.
Jerome? What?
He's an American filmmaker and actor, and his films have been characterized or stylized with violence, extended dialogue, often with profanities and references to pop culture. To be honest here, okay, so I have a mixed view on him. I began liking him, and there's a lot of movies of his in the beginning that I liked. Certain circumstances in later days caused me to really not care for his movies or him really as a person. So I can only really talk about everything up till Django, because I never watched anything from that movie on. And I'll let you guys give your opinions and stuff before we get
Wasn't Django his last movie?
No, was that
the
Hateful Eight?
Hollywood? You missed
Oh
that
yeah, it
one.
was the Hollywood, yeah, and then the Hateful
That
Eight
movie.
was before that.
That movie was pretty good, but
So
they made fun of our boy in that one.
yeah, I know. Yeah. We definitely got to get into that here in a little bit. But let's start more at the beginning, like you were doing there, Grim. He started out at a video store and like he dropped out of school from what I got my information from, and he was working at this video store, and that's kind of where he got his master's, so to speak, in like cinematography, and he would be able to tell you who directed what and who starred in what, and like knew all the trivia facts of it all, you know what I mean, for classic cinema. And he developed this like love for different subgenres, like the spaghetti westerns, like the samurai kung fu movies, like the, you know, all the different type of things that he later pulled from. And Quentin, like, he's always been a weird dude, bro, like an awkward kind of dude. So like, I think for him, it was almost like living vicariously through all of these characters and all of these stories and all of the fantasy of it all. You know what I'm saying? And he had, I imagine, an overactive imagination and just started writing stuff eventually. And from what I got, he actually started like a little writing team with other people that worked at the video store. And from there, you want to pick it up there, Grim?
Yeah, I want to just talk about real quick before we jump into this is that some of the movies that he wrote, but he didn't direct or anything like that, that he should be given credit for is, I mean, his first movie was a True Romance, and that had what was his name? Christian Slater, wasn't it? Yeah, Christian Slater.
Reed and Patricia Arquette. And see, that was
Yep.
actually a script that started off by one of the other guys that was in this writing team, this group of guys. And he started it. And Quentin was like, he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to help with it. He wanted to be involved, whatever, you know what I mean? And the other guy was working on other shit at the time. So he didn't really have a chance to do it like he wanted to do it. So he told Quentin, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you take it and finish it? So he did. And like he had a hell of a time, bro, trying to shop around these movies, because he ended up writing that one, and then he also wrote
Jackie Brown.
Well, no, that came later. He also wrote Natural Born Killers around the
Yep.
same time, and
Yeah,
that
but
was another
Jackie
one.
Brown, he didn't direct that one. He just wrote the script.
No, he directed Jackie Brown. That's one of his directorial ones. But the True Romance and the
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers, he didn't get the chance to. In fact, with Natural Born Killers, he didn't get to do hardly anything on it. And Oliver Stone, I think, is the one that ended up directing it. And he changed a lot and made it his own. And like Quentin didn't even really want nothing to do with it after a certain point, because it was no longer his original story and his original idea. It turned into this other guy's interpretation of it. So he tried to distance himself from it and he didn't even want to have credits on it. But the dude did it anyway.
Natural Born Killers is a dope movie.
Yeah. Doja, what do you damn, I saw that shit. Holy shit. This guy knows how to make an entrance, doesn't he? Hi, Doja. Welcome to the show.
Dude. Hey, when you put ice in there, it goes down so smooth.
Yes, it does. Uncle Jackie, I like your new toy there. That looks pretty tight.
Hey, funny story. My old one, I was trying to clean it and I put the torch to it and it blew up in my hand.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah. So for Father's Day, I got me a new one.
Is it me or did this fool just drop another layer? Wasn't he wearing a white beater a second ago?
Yeah.
I
Damn.
don't know.
I'd show
Hey,
off
this
the
is
tats.
this is strip cast. All right. I'll start taking my layers off in a minute, ladies. Calm down.
I figured I'd show off the tats.
Hey,
That's awesome.
but what was the question?
I didn't even get to ask it yet, but I was going to ask you what was your first exposure to Quentin? Was it Pulp Fiction or was it like Reservoir Dogs, or do you remember Quentin when these first movies came out, like the
It was
True
I first seen him. It's not even. I don't think it's not even his movie. It's Robert Rodriguez's, but from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then
So did you know that he played a small role in Desperado, which was like the first time he linked up with Robert Rodriguez?
He plays one of the guys that goes to the bar.
Oh yeah, he tells the joke. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna piss on your bar. I'm gonna piss on you. Yeah. I was actually
that's not the first time though. He actually directed a movie with Robert Rodriguez called 4 Rooms.
So check this out. The 4 Rooms came I want to say after they did Pulp Fiction, he decided to do something else, and it had Tim Roth all over it. And he had a few different directors that he was trying to work with, and it was going to be 4 different directors doing 4 different things. And I think the 4th person, I don't know what ended up happening with it, but the original 4th person didn't work out. So maybe there was somebody else that they added later, but it was like 4 different people.
It was like you're saying in that order. It was after Pulp Fiction, but it went 4 rooms that they worked together first, and then they did Desperado. But all he did was a participating role in that movie. Yeah. And then from Dusk Till Dawn, where I think he
actually wrote that one too.
He acted and co-wrote it, I think.
Yeah, that was another one that like kind of shop around again for a little bit.
I was a big fan of that movie, and then I watched I watched there's a scene in there that I mean when I first seen it kind of weirded me out because I just never been down with that shit. But it's a P dog scene. You guys know what I mean? But I was watching a video earlier and they were explaining like how he put like weird perverted scenes in there with kids, and then he was backing up this director in Hollywood that actually raped a 13-year-old at the time. That was a big controversial thing. And he was also real good friends with Harvey Weinstein too. So then
Well,
they were so it showed that back to that scene again, and I was just like, damn, I was just really turned off about it when I first seen it, but I was like that made it more like I was like, oh, that's disgusting, like
With
because he's
Juliette Lewis, is that what you're
yeah,
yeah, because
talking
he's
about when they're at the
yeah,
border?
in the
yeah,
RV.
he's
Yeah, no,
fantasizing
when they're
about
at the
her.
hotel, when he's looking at her up and down when she's in the towel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a they were saying he like deliberately put that in there as like as a pee scene, like a pee dog scene, and I was like, and then I was like, and like I said, when I first seen it, it was kind of weird to me too. But I love the From Dusk Till Dawn movie. That movie's fucking badass, and
Yeah.
he was smart because he said, I'm gonna have the hottest Mexican pour some tequila down her feet and I'm gonna suck her toes. That's another fucking like, oh. But I
Yeah.
mean, we
We're
all
talking.
love Sama.
that's
I can't
funny.
blame him there. But that scene is kind of weird. And then, like I said in the video I was watching on it, because we'll get into that later about
Yeah.
him as a person. But
There's
I was
actually
just,
that's a
Yeah.
synchronicity
I want to
because
get to
Remo
that.
and I
Go
talking
ahead.
about that's a synchronicity because you and I were talking about that earlier today on kind of how you felt about like he just seems off. He seems weird. And not to judge the guy, but there's just something about him.
Yeah.
And the thing I don't like I've brought up before, is that he usually plays a racist or someone who sexually aids a person or people or both in a lot of the movies. And that kind of just rubs me the wrong way. It's kind of what brings me to the Django thing, right? If you had
Yeah.
Leonardo
Hold
DiCaprio.
on a second there, though, Graham. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves because I want to like we'll definitely leave like his legacy and like how he kind of left the taste in people's mouths and shit, like towards the end. But I kind of want to focus more like on the body of work itself and how much it kind of changed cinema history, really. You know what I'm saying? Like once Quentin came in and started using some of these new tricks and tools and ideas, it really did change the direction of cinema from then on out, and it was never the same again.
hey, speaking of that, like the cinema, like when I watched the Kill Bills, especially part one, it was like so amazing. That's when I really became on his nuts with his movies because I love his movies, like
Yeah,
But I didn't find out about his personal life till down the road,
yeah.
But anyways, um, dude, like he put animation in there, like he put like the fighting scenes were dope, like he like really got into it and researched. Like I'm a big fan of Lucy Liu. Like I just watched her all the time. Like like the way his style of making movies is just, I think it's dope as fuck. Like it's sick.
Something that stood out to me, if we're talking about styles, is like with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, the telling the story out of sequence and you having to piece those pieces together just by watching the movies. To me, that was a unique take on the way that you experience the movie. Like basically, wasn't it Pulp Fiction? You're basically getting the end at the beginning, and then you go through the movie basically in a random order. I mean, you can't say it's backwards because
Yeah.
each scene is parts of the story, like a slice of life, but they were given to you in a way that you have to piece the story together and be like, oh shit, this happened first. This
Yeah,
happened here.
like how he writes like kind of like the end first and the beginning at the end, and it's like, and then like that last scene or whatever pops in place, and you're like, oh, what the hell? That shit all connected. Oh shit. Yeah, like that's tight.
I love I love storytelling that like makes you have to think. It makes you be more involved in it. It's like you play an active role in the storytelling process. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like trying to decipher it and figure it out. because he hits you with all these weird clues and like little Easter eggs and like a nod to this and a nod to that, because he like has created this whole universe of characters almost that has kind of intertwined itself in several different movies. Kind of like how Kevin Smith did with Silent Bob and that whole universe. It's kind of similar to that, you know, because the character that Michael Madsen played in Reservoir Dogs um, is the
Mr.
same,
Wand.
but his last name was Vega in it. You know what I mean? And that was also Vincent Vega, the John Travolta character in Pulp Fiction, and they became like brothers in this little universe or whatever. And there was supposed to be a movie about those two when John Travolta's character was actually in Amsterdam and how they hooked up and they did some shit in Amsterdam. That was supposed to be one of the movies that he was going to come out with, but it didn't end up happening. But there's so many cool things like you were talking about, like the sequences. And another thing that I think is unique to Quentin also, at least at the time. Now I feel like it's been taken and oversaturated, but he would like use music in ways that you hadn't really seen it be used before. You know what I mean? For different scenes and openings and cuts and involved in the actual scene itself, where you would see the actors humming or singing along with what you would typically think of as like the background score. You know what I mean?
Hey, like a prime example is on the Kill Bill where he's playing the flute, and she walks out, and then there he is with this flute, Bill, you know, playing it, and he's like, oh, what the heck, you know? Hey, and wasn't it real quick? Didn't RZA do the music for the Kill Bills?
I don't know if he did the whole score of it all, but I know he was involved in some of it. I know he had to have been involved in, because it was around the time when he did what was it, The Man with the Iron Fist or something like that?
Yeah, or the man with the iron fist with Batista.
Yeah, it was around that time, I think. And he also did that Tony Jaa one, The Young Buck, where he was involved in a few different
Ghost
uh
Dog.
what
Ghost
was he
Dog.
involved in the Ghost Dog one also?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Which is
But yeah, you know, like
the Hagakure. That's what that movie's based off of. Every quote he's saying throughout the movie that he's saying he based himself as a samurai, it comes from the book The Hagakure, which was the
yeah,
only book about the way of the samurai. And that's what
uh,
that symbol is on our wrist, is the
uh,
Hagakure.
hell
It's
yeah.
three
That's fucking
things.
dope. That's dope. Thank you, Graham, for showing us that. That's dope. But I was gonna say, like, my first exposure to Quentin that I remember at least, and it has to be like that opening scene in Pulp Fiction when they're in the fucking diner, and then she's like, "Every last motherfucking one of you," and then it turns into the song, you know, that, you know what I'm saying? So like that's what I think of like with my first exposure. Because Pulp Fiction, once that movie came out, it changed the game. You know what I mean? That was the one. Reservoir Dogs was dope and it got people's attention, but Pulp Fiction changed the game. You know what I mean? Like that one changed cinema.
So, since we're talking about the styles, we're talking about what changed the game. I want to bring this up because it's associated to this movie. So, for those of you who don't know, Quentin Tarantino, he created another movie revolved around Pulp Fiction, which was called Full Tilt Boogie. This was a movie about the making of the movie Pulp Fiction, and it had a lot of special features in it, and things like, for instance, John Travolta. The entire time, the reason why he's holding something in his hand because he doesn't remember his lines, so they gave him the script to read off of for the entire movie. And then another thing is when you always see the Samuel L. Jackson character and just lost his name, John Travolta, they're getting that case for Marcellus Wallace, right? And all you ever see is like a light every time they open it. So, fun fact, if you don't know why he has a band-aid on the back of his neck, is he made a deal with a voodoo priest or something that went wrong. And this voodoo priest basically extracted his soul from the back of his neck. And that's what this whole movie, they're trying to get his soul back.
I have heard that that's one of the fan theories. I don't
It's
think
in that,
I don't
it's
think
in
that
that Full Tilt Boogie.
that's what he says is the actual cause of it. Because I did, from what I saw, Quentin has never actually said what was in the briefcase. Like it's always asked still.
See,
I always wondered.
But that movie, Doja, like, there's so many iconic scenes, iconic, like pieces of dialogue, the
Hey,
music.
speaking of Pulp Fiction scenes, I used there's a scene in my new my new meme movie coming out,
Hell
part
yeah,
two. But anyways, where the college kid comes out and he shoots at him, you know, and then
yep,
they're looking at each other, and then they shoot that guy. So
yep.
in mine, me and my other clone, because I cloned myself in part one, but it it's hard to keep up with, but you know, but anyways, we shoot Eminem. I-
Oh man, the many adventures of Soul Doja.
hey, and
it
then
is
another.
all saying the soul, but yeah, it's saying it's not really giving it definitively. But what they're saying different is that it was his soul, and he sold it to the devil in exchange for prominence and success.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's kind of a sick plot twist.
Yeah, it is.
Hey,
Go ahead,
what
Doja.
that you know that scene where John Travolta and her are dancing? That's probably one of the most famous freaking scenes from that movie. Like,
Right?
uh, there's
I
a
was
meme for
about
that
to say
too.
Jackson with his. Do they speak what, or do they speak English and what?
What ain't no
That's
picture
like the
happening?
best scene ever.
And the quoting from the Bible, that whole piece of it, like that was something he added, and they kind of. I was watching this documentary just a little bit earlier today, and they was talking about how Quentin kind of stole some shit from other things. And this quoting from the Bible, like some of the shit he says is almost verbatim some this other thing that I saw that was pulled from, almost like some, I think it was a Hong Kong movie or something. But it kind of tripped me out, dog, because that's such an iconic thing. You know what I mean? And to see that it was in something else before kind of fucked it up for me a little bit. I don't know how true it was or not, but seemed like it to me. Seemed legit.
But one of my favorite movies of his, favorite, Inglorious Bastards. I got to give it up to Brad Pitt in that movie. Freaking Michael Fassbender. The scenes that are amazing. So, like for instance, the scene in the where they're meeting with the guy when he says he speaks the best Italian, right? And what they caught was that he didn't do the German three. He did the English three. Remember? And that's how they knew it was a setup.
Yeah.
Little details like that. That's freaking awesome that they put that in there.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's cool. Like he like researches into like that stuff, you know, like.
And he pays like real close attention to detail, and like he's a fan of that, and all of those little Easter eggs, like we were talking about earlier, like he likes. So I almost kind of equate it to music, right? Like Tech Nine, he's like fun for the listener, for the ear, because there's highs and lows, and it goes all around, and he just hits you at all these different angles and all this shit, and that's kind of what Quentin does. He fucks with like all your senses while you're watching this shit, and that's what makes him genius with it, because the storytelling in it is really second to none. He has his own style, his own flavor, and it, like, once it reveals itself to you, it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like for you, you said the Inglorious Bastards. I've only seen that once or twice, but I remember feeling that way too. Like, this is a great freaking movie. This is
I
a good.
I didn't really care for the Hateful Eight. I was
I was,
kind of long. I mean the cinem how do you say cinematic, the scenery and stuff was yeah, it was off, that was on point, but the storyline was just so boring to me.
I wonder. I haven't seen that one. I want to check it out. I actually wanted to watch it today, but I didn't get a chance to. Grandma, what did you think about Jackie Brown? You actually brought it up a couple times. Have you seen Jackie Brown?
Yeah, I thought it was dope. I've seen it only like twice. It's been a while. I love Pamela Greer. She's a dope actress. Also, Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie, which is why Samuel L. Jackson did Pulp Fiction and things, because even though he's been in other movies prior, okay, he was in other movies. But he credits Quentin Tarantino for really helping him get his push start in Hollywood.
Yep.
You know what
Well, and that's the other thing about him too. I wanted to bring up at some point is that he has kind of been like this, almost like a fountain of youth or rejuvenation pool for fucking actors that have struggling careers. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a few of them that had some flops and weren't really on the top of anybody's list, and he would take them and give them these fucking awesome iconic roles, and next thing you know, it gave like whole new life to their career, you know. And like John Travolta's prime example, because Pulp Fiction totally rejuvenated his career. He was having a just like I said, a few flops, and then next thing you know, he was top.
Are you speaking of the dead prostitutes they found in his house? The
All
flops?
every single one of them.
Are you talking about the Scientology that he's involved in?
I'm trying to not talk about that.
So I know we're not crediting it as one of his movies, but a movie that he wrote, Natural
Hey,
Born
we
Killers.
forgot to pick our. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man.
Robert Downey Jr. You know, I know Iron Man resurrected his career, but I feel like that was one of his last great roles before he came into Iron Man. Was his role as the news reporter in Natural Born Killers.
Now, to be complete,
Oh, I totally forget about that. He was.
I don't. To be
Hey,
honest with you, I don't know if I've seen all of that movie.
That's the end
dude,
scene with the prison break and everything, dude.
dude,
But he's all
that's
throughout it.
that scene is ill as hell. Hey, hey, me and my baby mom, we used to watch that shit on mushrooms all the time. Natural Born Killers, that was like one of our go-to movies, man.
As
And then
the
we
mushroom,
watched huh?
as the mushroom trip scene, remember with rattlesnakes and stuff. And he gets that story about the snake biting the hand. And
Yeah,
then,
even that is they have to research. That's a native tradition too. That's
yeah,
I was actually literally talking about that the other day. Even they even do that in the southern churches where they bite themselves with snakes.
yeah.
I never heard of nothing like that.
But
What?
so Pat Sunday, he came from South Baptist, and he told us once that he saw all that snake stuff and everything that they do that.
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hey,
You have to look it up.
speaking on that, so my homeboy got he got bit by two diamondback rattlesnakes up here, and he said that was like the best time of his life. It was like dreaming for like he was in a coma for like 2 weeks because he had so much venom in him, and
Yeah,
he said it was the best experience he ever did in his life.
That's
But
one
yeah,
of the most expensive vaccines. You know that is rattlesnake venom, and you know why? Because they
what?
have to have a snake bite a horse, and then they take the blood from the horse because horses are immune to the venom, and then they make the anti venom out of that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and just take the venom like you can other things and make an anti venom from it. You have to have it bite another animal, which is a horse, and then you extract its blood and make it crazy.
dude, that's awesome.
Oh shit.
Hey,
Okay, hold
hey,
on.
not only do we entertain you people, we educate too. So just know
Yeah,
this could be a learning channel.
I
Hey,
didn't
that's
like all
that's
of a
just good to know
sudden.
down here. There's rattlesnakes everywhere. That's why I have a ton of cats because the cats kill all that stuff. But they're out here everywhere.
Oh man, y'all! I think it's time for our Droman of the week because y'all are
Oh
tripping me out
shit!
right now.
Hold, hold on. Let me like this. Let me like this doobie.
Well, start us off, Grim. What you got?
some orange fire orbit. That's what I was looking at because it just got it right before the show.
Hell yeah!
Flower.
Hell yeah!
I got this. I got a whole ounce of some dabs.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then I got some. I just got this shit for the show to smoke. Some garlic crusher. This is pretty good, man. Let me see if I could. Let me see if I could put it up there.
It's not working today.
It's because of your tats. That looks
Oh.
nice. Ah, this fucking thing, it never works for me. I hate this fucking thing. Well, I had like oh, Doge, what you didn't say what flavor the dabs were. You just said a zip.
Day tripping.
All right. I got
You
like
know
a
how
thing.
I like to day trip.
Hell yeah. I like that. I got like a little medley of some flour. It was kind of like the bottom of a couple different little sacks, and I just put it all together. And I had it all mixed up. So I was kind of smoking on a bowl of some mixed shit. And
Hey,
I
that
got another, huh?
Nickel
triple
frit.
six, triple six called that. Oh yeah, that's the triple threat. They would, but when you mix more than one, they just call it that's the Bin Laden.
The Bin
Oh,
Laden.
Yeah.
Been smoking. But and my car, I got another one of those from our my people over at Skunk. Go see him if you're here in the Thornton area. I got one of those cereal milk ones that I like so much. You know, this is like my third one because I just dig the fuck out of this strain.
Hey, is that what's the brand? Is that Dank?
No, it's like X Vapes or something like that.
Oh, so
extra,
I've been getting these
extra.
Dank ones, and my homeboy got the cereal milk, and that's crazy, dude. It tastes just like Frosted Flakes cereal. Like I was like, what the? I was
Yeah,
like,
That's
I
some
was
of the
like,
flour.
mine
mhm.
like Fruit Loops or something. I don't
Then
know.
he got some fruity soup, fruity milk or fruity cereal, and that was so good too. I was like,
Hell yeah.
they're getting pretty good with those carts though. Remember when they first started? Not so much.
It's kind of rough. It's still kind of rough. Like it does a number on my throat sometimes. I have to fucking hit it on a low setting. I don't hit it on a real high hot setting because that shit will jack my throat up. You know what I mean?
I let you have my vape for at work, so I could vape all over. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully no one watches it from my job.
So if you do, don't say shit. Anyway,
Hey, it's
y'all ready?
I knew the fan and stuff was gonna mess that up.
mine too, fuckers.
But no.
I forgot to tell you, I infused like every so often. There's hash everywhere.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that has been our dromint of the week.
Yeah.
So back to Quentin here. Uh, we were kind of talking about like some of the other movies that we liked and stuff, and we
Hey,
were
when you guys got the list of orders of how of the movies?
Yeah,
Like how did
yeah,
it go?
I got it
yeah,
up right now.
filmography up, please, Grim. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about Jackie Brown. We already kind of brought that one up. That one I saw a lot later. I didn't see that one like in real time. I
Me,
saw that.
hey, me too. Like I was saying, Kill Bill was my first ones, and then I saw Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and then Jackie Brown. I just probably recently seen like maybe his past 5 years. I
So
didn't even know.
I
I didn't even
see
know
it.
about that.
so
I saw it.
you didn't see Pulp Fiction back in the day?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that was his. I didn't know those were his movies either.
Yeah, what kind of fucking rock you living under? Shit.
Jackie
I,
Brown for me, I saw twice before I met you, Remo. And remember, when I met you, I think I was 23 and you were 19. So at that point, I had already seen him twice, but I didn't see it when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think I had seen it at that point. Like I said, it was years later still for me, for Jackie Brown at least. I remember it coming out and I remember people talking about it, but I just never saw it for whatever reason. And I don't know, I'm kind of that way when it comes to movies. Like even that Inglorious Bastards, I didn't see that shit for a long time until after it came out.
hey,
You know?
have you guys watched the new one? It's actually the actual like story that was kind of like based on. Uh, it's like something gentleman, but they go around and they're like tearing shit up, like fighting the Nazis in the Africa and stuff. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
No, I
You saw
don't.
it?
I don't know anything about it. Well,
Pretty
that's
good.
the Jackie Brown though. You gave a shout out to Pam Grier. I want to give her an extra shout out because she's actually from Denver. I don't think y'all knew that.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
Ah.
my brother met her one time. He said she wasn't that friendly to him, so I don't know. My brother could rub people the wrong way too
it
sometimes.
was a comeback for Greer too.
Yeah, she was another one like that, you know, where it did cool things for her. And the guy that I wish I could remember his name right now, but one of the lead guys in it,
Robert Forster.
what is it?
Robert Forster.
I think that is who it is. He was somebody that Quentin had wanted to work with for a long, long time and finally got a chance to. And like I really like that dude's role in it. I like how innocently he played it. You know, like he did a damn good job in that movie. I like that. And Chris Tucker's in that one. Is it Robert De Niro in that one too?
I think so. He might be.
Yeah,
Which one?
he plays the dude that's like banging the fucking dude's chick in the apartment.
And that it's actually based off of a novel from Elmore Leonard, and it's called Rum Punch.
All right.
That's what the name of the novel is that Jackie Brown's based off of.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I did remember seeing that in the documentary. But in Jackie Brown also in the beginning, the music sequence at the beginning, you know, the opening scene or whatever, it plays a song. Fuck, I'm losing it right now. Oh, Someone Across 110th Street, and I think it's like Curtis Mayfield or something like that. Bro, that fucking song is so damn tight. I jammed the shit out of that shit, and y'all have to check that shit out.
Uh, uh, hey, I was gonna say earlier we didn't pick our favorite movie of the week.
Oh, Quentin's.
Yeah, you know how we usually do a song on an artist. We could, you know.
You're right. We should have done that. We could still do it right now. You want to do it
We'll do
now?
it at the we'll do it at the end because we want to get to the juicy part. Yeah,
All right. Well,
juicy.
with that in mind, the only other thing that I kind of wanted to get into before all of his controversies and whatnot was just like the actors that he worked with, like the people that ended up being like longtime Quentin collaborators. I kind of wanted to get into a little bit more of the Kill Bills, to be honest with you, because
Yeah, that's. I wanted to mention real quick before we move, just because of the style. I don't want to jump too far ahead yet.
Yeah.
We never mentioned that in the style, and it's one I can speak on because, like I said, I haven't watched all of his later movies.
Yeah.
I like the style that the first one was done in the Japanese kung fu style, or Japanese/Chinese kung fu and anime style. Then you had the second one, which was the spaghetti western,
Yep.
and it had some elements of the kung fu movie because you had Pai Wei.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the way he references things, and like I said, how he gives a little nod to certain things, you know, it's so cool how in Kill Bill how it all intertwined with each other, bro. Because that was another one where it's like you kind of see it out of sequence. You know what I mean? Like you have to watch both movies to get the whole story. And that was an ingenious, just the idea of that alone, that he put out one movie and then you had to wait however fucking long until the next movie came out to even know what the rest of the actual story is. You know, like, it's fucking tight, bro. Like I like that shit.
So fun fact, and I don't know if you remember Remo, and you probably do too, Soul. I had that movie Shaolin Chastity Kung Fu, one of the ones that Wu-Tang brought out that they used, some of the samples from.
Okay.
In that movie, the younger monk in there, the one who's like, Master, they're killing a chicken in front of the temple, and he's like, they're children, they have to eat. But the young monk, he's Pai Wei.
Yeah.
Because he's in a lot of kung fu movies.
I saw the old footage of that, yeah.
That's funny.
And the guy that plays Hattori Hanzo or whatever, like Sonny Chiba, like that dude's been in fucking all kinds of shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, Hey, speaking of that scene right there, that's what got me drinking sake and trying it for the first time because I was watching that with Ray. Ray was like, yeah, and then he's like, sake, it's good, yeah. And then me and Ray were drinking gallons of that shit.
What up, Mundo? I love you, brother. He's
Eh,
good.
Dude,
eh,
the
eh.
one, when they do that girl with the freaking ball and chain, sick.
Oh, little go-go or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was fucking badass. And there was so check.
Oh, by the way, he was one of the henchmen. Remember the bald one with the cap?
Johnny something, right?
He looked like Kato, kind of, but
Yeah,
bald.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So check this shit out. I was also listening to this little thing on YouTube this morning when I was at work, and they were talking about the movies that Quentin will never get to make, that he wanted to make but never get a chance to. And there was supposed to be a Kill Bill Volume 3. And
Yeah.
that it was
Oh,
supposed to be like the daughters now, like however many years later, now the daughters face off. Like the one in the first Kill Bill, Vernetta Green or whatever, the Vivica A. Fox character, her daughter. Remember, she got killed in front of her daughter, and the
Yeah.
the
yeah.
bride told her that you could seek revenge on me when you grow up someday if you want to or whatever. So fucking like it was supposed to be her daughter against the bride's daughter, who now who grew up, without Bill, but her and the bride together and shit, had however many years of peace, but now it was all fucked up and it was gonna be revenge story all over again. And that
So,
sounded right, bro.
He
fun fact.
he talked about it on the Joe Rogan interview too. Because he said he's gonna do like a couple more movies, but he said he has a few ideas, but he don't know,
Yeah,
But
That's
yeah.
that'd
what I
be
heard.
sick.
But
But I
I
don't understand if you
don't
have a passion for that. Can you just stop and not? I'll be making tons of movies.
I kind of get it though, because like you don't want to tarnish your legacy. Like you don't want to start being a caricature of yourself and doing like silly shit just to do it, just for money. Like at a certain point, like you want to keep and maintain your artistic integrity, and you don't want to compromise that just for money. You know what I mean? Unless
so
unless you're unless you're foolish with your riches and your wealth, because a lot of people have to do that. A lot of people have to start making these bullshit fucking movies because they weren't able to be on top of it financially or whatever with some of their decisions and you know
I don't know if it was inspired by or if it's just shares a commonality. The Crow, the second one in the novels, James O'Barr, because obviously the movies were inspired by it. The second movie, because the book is about the bride, okay, and so the second Crow is actually a female character, and it's basically the same story as Kill Bill, kind of. And the reason why when they went to make the movie, the second Crow movie, Hollywood said no, there's no room for a feminine, strong character in a role as a heroine, and so they went the route of the Vincent Perez storyline.
oh, you know what, I heard that story. So there was never a Crow that was made with the female then,
No, not a movie, no, but the so like I
like
said, there's a
a
graphic
novel or
novel,
something.
yeah, that inspired it. The first one is about Eric Draven,
Yeah.
his story complete. The second one is about a bride,
Yeah.
not his bride, a different character.
The
Hey,
fu-
that's kind of tight actually, because it'd be kind of cool to see both sides' views of like the Crow bringing back people to life.
yeah, yeah, for sure. That would be dope.
Hey, we should. There's another movie. Write it
Yeah.
down.
Did you guys see that there's gonna be a new Crow coming out? Did you see that?
Yeah, with the dude who played the It.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, Skarsgård. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head.
Is it Peter Sarsgaard?
No, isn't that their dad?
I don't know.
And Alex is the one I think who played True Blood in that Viking movie.
I don't
What?
know.
The
There's only
North,
I know.
What? He's gonna be in it?
No, not that dude, but the guy who played
Oh.
the It. Let me hold on a sec so I can tell you right.
Yeah, I like that you have your little Google machine right there in front of you. It makes things a lot easier.
Yep,
He's
Bill
like,
Skarsgård.
Who?
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill. Okay. Doge, I wanted to ask you about David Carradine from the Kill Bills, the guy that played Bill. Because that he was like another one where obviously he had like an iconic character already, you know,
how
from
did
the came from
he die?
well, that's kind of why that's why I'm talking to you, buddy. Now, this dude had like this crazy legacy already, controversial legacy already because of the Kung Fu series and Bruce Lee and all that already. And then like he came back, kind of rejuvenated his career, you know what I mean? And just Kill Bills like really put him back on the map again. And then he died in like such a crazy controversial way.
Asphyxiation with a prostitute, but I don't know if I really want to comment on this aspect on it until we get into the other side of other things.
It's how we go to the dark side.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
before we get to the dark side, let's get into a couple other movies too, real quick. Doge, did you ever get to see the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, I own it.
So, in that movie, before we get to the stuff that we really want to talk about it, how did y'all feel about him like creating like his own ending to the actual story?
I watched only because I never watched this movie. I watched all the things about the Bruce Lee thing and the real life comparisons versus the difference in the movie, really. But so I never watched the whole movie. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay. What about you?
I think it's awesome. Like, I love how the ending, like, kind of like flipped the story on that whole like Manson thing, like it going on. Like, it was kind of like a happy ending, but man, that scene was so brutal. Did you see that scene?
The end, dog, I only saw it one time, and to be honest with you, like I thought it was excessive. I thought it was like too much, and like I didn't. There were certain things about it that I didn't really care for, like the Bruce stuff, and then like I don't know, it was just a little too cheesy in some spots. Like sometimes, and this is why, like when he said he only wanted to do so many movies or whatever, and then be done, because I feel like at a certain point you start to do shit like this to where it's almost unnecessary. It's like you're just doing silly shit just for the sake of silly shit. And like to me that's whack, bro. Like it loses its artistic integrity,
I think so there was like a few movies that came out like kind of based around that same Hollywood era, but I like the portrait of how it portrayed that, like how the actors are, how they are, or, like
Yeah, a lot of people like that shit. I'm like kind of in the minority. You know what I mean? So, like I get it, bro,
you minority.
Dude, I'm not a fan of what I've seen.
So, well, let's get into it about the whole Bruce thing. That that rubbed us all the wrong way, obviously, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how deep you want me to get into it, but let's start. Okay, this whole Bruce thing, I feel like Quentin hates Bruce. He's already made comments about it. He said F the fans that want to complain about his interpretation of Bruce,
What?
and that Bruce wasn't that great, right? Which offended
What?
Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter. And her basic thing was like, it's messed up the way he went about it. Not like that, how he did it in the film, because that's your film. You do whatever you want. But at least if you're going to do that, say that I may not understand who he was as a man, but this is the way I chose to portray him in my movie. She said would have been the better route. And until he apologizes for things that he said about her father, she says she really doesn't want to have anything to do with him. But I feel his hatred for Bruce goes back farther, even into Kill Bill. And this is why I didn't want to answer. Because he chose the guy that took over Bruce's show.
Yeah.
He used Bruce's suit mockingly, basically, because he said it wasn't to reference Bruce and it had nothing to do with Bruce, but clearly it did. Um,
He said that it had nothing to do with Bruce.
yeah, that's not what he was going for.
How can you be an exact fucking replica and not have anything to do with it?
He was
Then
going. It was going for Jackie Chan.
then you put Sonny Chiba, right, who
Hey,
is
and then
accredited to martial arts movies. And
I didn't put that two and two together like just till now in my head when me and Remo were just talking. But that is kind of weird how that dude that stole the Kung Fu show for the Bruce Lee had that original idea, that same actor, and then he was all buddy with him, and then he kind of put that scene in there and made Bruce look like a fool. Make him look like a fool.
So, I didn't know a lot of that stuff that you were saying about the stuff with the daughter. I heard that there was stuff with the daughter, but I didn't know what. Um, I heard him on the Rogan show, I guess, and he was talking about the whole Bruce thing there, and saying like people could eat a dick. That Bruce had no respect for American stuntmen, and that they had to get Judo Gene LaBelle to come in and teach Bruce a lesson and show him how to do it. And then I was listening to this other video on YouTube, and they were kind of breaking it down and telling the story less biasly. You know what I mean? More true to form, I think. And they were saying about how Bruce he didn't know how to there he was the first to do the shit, you know what I mean? So like nobody really knew how to do the fight sequences and scenes that he was trying to do at the time. So like he would go kind of stiff on the stunt dudes, you know what I mean? And he would kind of jack some people up and hurt them or whatever. So they did have to bring Judo Gene LaBelle in to help teach Bruce how to fight for film, how to fight for camera. You know what I mean? And to do that kind of stuff. And he helped out with that apparently. And that is what kind of changed the course of his career, because on the Green Hornet, I guess he was having some problems and people were hating on him, and like he was rubbing some people the wrong way because it just wasn't mixing. They didn't know how to do it yet. There was no set way of doing things for something like that, because it was the first of its kind. So I heard fucking Quentin, like I said, talking shit and saying that people could eat a dick or something like that don't like it or whatever. And like, to me, that's all whack, bro. Like he did kind of show no remorse towards the whole situation. And that rubs me the wrong way still, because they as much as I think that there probably is some truth, because I think Bruce was kind of a cocky dude to a certain degree, but I don't think he was like a fucking like a prick that was a dumbass, like how he was portrayed in that Once Upon a Time. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think Bruce was very much more in tune, like just because of his beliefs. I feel like he was very much more in tune to the human spirit, and I don't think he would actually treat people like shit just naturally. You know what I mean? I feel like he would naturally be more of a kind-hearted person, regardless of regardless of whatever ego he may have had. But that's just my interpretation of it all, and that's how I feel about it.
yeah. Um, I agree with all the Bruce Lee stuff. Before we move on from the Bruce Lee thing, I just want to say this, for those that really don't want to recognize Bruce Lee, they want to say, oh, there's a lot more people out there that are better than Bruce Lee and the MMA thing. Well, reality is he started MMA with I can't remember his name, Joe, what the heck's his name, the karate dude who actually is the one accredited for doing kickboxing and MMA stuff in the beginning. Him and Bruce worked on it together before Bruce died. Bruce never wanted to get involved in the actual aspect of it. He just wanted to help create it and mold it. um
Is it Joe Inosanto or something?
no, look it up.
And speaking on that too, Bruce was like the first one to come up with the gloves, like with the no fingers and stuff. So the like
Yeah, and put gloves. He cut it off, but
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
it's Joe
yeah,
Lewis. Okay,
you could
so Joe Lewis
The
is the
box.
guy that formed it with Bruce Lee, and they anyways, there's a lot of people in the MMA that said that they're better now than Bruce Lee. Even you have Michael Jai White and things like that. But the thing is if these people think they're so good, the even in the MMA, right? How come they couldn't beat any of his world records? You know what I mean? He has a lot of world records, and let me get him up here. Oh, yeah,
I didn't know he had any records.
oh, heck yeah, he
yeah.
did.
There's
He
that.
had
I knew he had a little criminal
hit
record.
300 pounds of pressure for a 145-pound man. Freaking, uh, what's his face? Muhammad Ali was the only one who could hit that hard, but he was 280 pounds. Other ones are here.
And, and then like his famous push up. I
Yeah,
don't think that
just the
anybody's been able to
thumb,
do
the
that.
finger. Those are all world records. Hold on, I'm trying to find all that stuff
And
because
then he was playing when he was playing nunchucks with ping pong balls.
yeah, enlighten the matches and all that stuff.
Is that
Yeah.
it's real? I thought those were
Dude,
just.
the
No,
the
they're
match one.
dude, and what they did is they put the sandpaper on the end of the nunchucks so that he could freaking when he could,
I saw that, but I didn't think it was real.
oh no,
Yeah, because he was demonstrating all that stuff like in like
he could do
turn big.
1,500 push-ups with both hands in one go without stopping. 400 on one hand, 200 on two fingers, 100 on one thumb. He holds the world record for kicking a 135 kilogram sandbag to the ceiling, which was 300 pounds. It's 5 meters high, right?
Dude, that's
Uh,
sick.
what else? But I wish they just weren't showing videos because it's hard to do this without.
I was gonna say, like, how's there no footage of that shit? I've never seen none of
He
that.
could it's like he could punch you 9 times in 1 second. I can't remember how many times he could kick you in a second. He has 9 or 10 world records actually, but without watching a video or something right now, it's not showing me the results.
Wow, that's crazy.
Frustrating.
Yeah, that's okay. That's interesting stuff. Well, because I'm sure he'll be one of our topics for a
I,
show on
I,
his own one of these days. Anyway,
I
we could save
yeah,
all
yeah.
for some of the Bruce stuff.
I was already thinking that in my head because I have a few. I have a few of his books. I listened to his daughter's book, "Be Like Water." Yeah, his teachings and stuff. That'd be fun to do an episode on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce definitely he's on our docket, so let's not worry about that too much. But as far as the rest of his controversial movies go, I know I wanted to definitely give you the chance, Grim, to start talking about when you started to lose your fandom with the Django movie and how you felt about it, Doja. So go ahead,
Well,
Grim.
I love that movie.
So I've heard a lot of people say that and that it's a good movie, but look, even when Leonardo DiCaprio, what I was saying earlier, he didn't want to say the N word, especially with the hard R. And they had to keep making him repeat it and repeat it. He would say it so quiet because he didn't want to say it. So you have a guy like that who doesn't want to say that word. That speaks of his character. But you have, after that movie came out, I just felt, even just seeing it, it was too much, too racist, and I just feel unnecessary in all ways. But seeing him, it made me look at him as a man, Quentin. And I was telling Remo earlier that in all his movies, he either plays a racist or somebody who sexually aids people, or he does both, right? And
Well,
feels like if you're writing these things, why do you always choose to be that character? And it's kind of weird, and it made me feel weird about him.
hey, so I was watching that interview like Cat Williams is all I see Quentin Tarantino knock his teeth out, he's all, I don't know who gave him the okay to drop the N bomb like that. And he was talking about Pulp Fiction, where he says it like 132 times or something crazy in that scene. And he's like, does this look like, something hotel, the word, and then like, and I think it was Pulp Fiction where they go to the house, his house or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you see the sign that says dead N-word storage out in the front and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, all these
Yeah,
things?
yeah,
It's
that
so
scene right
brutal,
there.
and he's like so ruthless to Samuel L. Jackson's character because he's supposed to be the friend. And I mean that Grindhouse, okay, his character in that, in Pulp Fiction, or
Oh, I
Pulp
forgot about
Fiction,
those movies.
From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, like I said, just the characters he plays, that's kind of what I think of him as a person at this point. And at that point, that's why I never gave his other films a chance.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's
Well,
too much of that in him that comes out in his movies that I
well,
start to dislike.
like I was saying earlier, that like there's like I forgot about that scene. What we were just talking about. But I was watching that video and they were kind of highlighting some stuff, and I was like, dang, that guy was kind of doing that stuff in the beginning. And then, like I said about that From Dusk Till Dawn scene, and then they were explaining all the controversy that was going on at the time with a 13-year-old, that this guy, a big time director, I have to figure out his name, but he gave her quaalude and alcohol, and then he raped her, and it's like, geez, why would
Roman
you just?
Polanski thing where he fled to Europe or whatever. Wasn't that
Yeah,
man?
yeah,
Who is
yeah,
this?
he fled, and then
He word this little girl, and when he was going to trial for it, he fled to Europe to not be extradited because he's actually a citizen from France, wasn't it, or something like that?
And
And he
he's a
put out the
director?
Guinness.
and he
Yeah, he
was
put
like
Guinness.
old,
He
old.
was still overseas, and all this was going on, and people were pissed.
I never heard of any of this stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't you know feel comfortable playing like certain characters like that. Like, nah, bro. Or like, there's like the dress ritual that they have the actors do in movies, or they have to wear dresses and dress up, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if it's kind of
Roman.
weird that. Huh?
It was Roman Polanski, and he is from France, so that's what happened.
So
He
isn't he the one from the fucking Manson murders? Isn't he the guy?
See,
Wouldn't that be some weird connection? Oh, and
Roman.
would
then
get
back to Quentin. Irma Thum, she jacked her neck for that scene where she crashes in her car, and she jacked her neck for, like, she's saying that it wasn't a safe car, and she was arguing about doing that scene, so she ends up wrecking for reals, and she said her neck has never been the same, and there was a couple of times that Harvey Weinstein tried to uh, do things with her in certain hotel rooms or whatever. There's a story about that. She was talking about it, and she was saying that she just she didn't like being around those two, because they were always trying to push themselves on them actors.
Then
so.
Weinstein and Quentin?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. Well, go ahead, Griff.
it is Polanski, and it doesn't say anything about the Manson stuff. But in 1977, he was arrested for drugging an R-word, a 13-year-old girl. He pled guilty to a lesser charge of unlawful sex with a minor in exchange for probation-only sentence. The night before his sentencing in 1978, he learned that the judge would likely reject the preferred plea bargain, so he fled to the U.S. to Europe, where he continued his career. He remains a fugitive from the U.S. justice system.
Still to this
Further
day.
allegations of abuse have been made by other women.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it was crazy, like so it's Howard Stern and Quentin Tarantino. Howard Stern's like kind of drilling him about this guy, right? He's like, how could you be all friends and defend him like that? And he did this and this and this, and he's like, well, it's just one of those 13-year-olds, it's just a party girl and stuff. And you're like, and Howard Stern's like, no, I don't know. She's 13. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then you kind of connect the dots more, like look at the bigger picture with Epstein and all that stuff. It's like all that stuff's like second nature to these sickos.
Do you guys know if Quentin's name was part of that list?
Wouldn't that be wild? It probably.
Dude, hey, check this out real quick. So Quentin Tarantino has allegations against him. One is that he spat on Uma Thurman during filming and he choked her in one scene, as well as strangled Diane Kruger in a scene in Inglourious Bastards.
Damn. I never heard of that either. I was gonna talk. You guys went like way deep with it. I was gonna talk about how I was hearing him address him using the N-word and how he I saw him on the Wake Up Show with Sway, and like, dog, I don't understand what the fuck happens sometimes when people are around successful people where they give them these passes, I guess, or whatever. But like, none of them fools were like giving Quentin a hard time, and the whole time Quentin was there, like, you could tell he was like trying to act ghetto, like he was trying to talk like he was ghetto and say things with weird little accent and like different shit. And I'm like, does nobody, and they were talking about the fucking N-word whole situation and shit. And like, he was kind of defending himself and they weren't really giving him a hard time about it. Like, it was so weird. Well, the whole thing was strange to me. And it was on the Wake Up Show with Sway. Bless you.
Hey, but wasn't his middle name Jerome? So maybe,
yeah,
maybe he was part black.
But that's what I was going to talk about. But I also have it in my notes about the Weinstein affiliation, and they were actually really tight for like 20 some years, bro. So like, and he also
9.
he did 9 movies together with the Weinstein Company out of his 10. So
That's pretty much. Oh, and then he also put that scene in it's Pulp Fiction where the guy's in the basement, and it's pretty graphic what he's doing and is up to. And they were saying that was kind of like weird, and that was perverted for him to put that in there too. And I didn't really care, like you don't have to have sounds and all that stuff in it to understand what's going on with something like that. Like I don't really like those R scenes in any movies.
Yeah.
But why does it have to be the Ving Rhames character?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That not say something about?
Oh yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, that's another thing right there too. Yeah.
Your A-wording.
Yeah, like humiliating a big successful gangster black dude too.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really ever look at it like that. You guys are kind of right.
Dang, and he's saved by the redneck white dude. Hey, with one of those, what do you call those blades from Kill Bill? Use that in there already.
It's already
Yeah,
out.
see? He used one of those in there.
So yeah, like we were talking about it, towards the beginning and whatever, but like he's just got this like creepy thing about him. I don't remember if it was that one that you were talking about or not, Grim, the documentary about Pulp Fiction, but I saw something like that, and he was like watching. Oh, who was it? I can't remember who it was, but he was like watching somebody dance or somebody perform somehow, some girl. And he was watching it with the sleaziest, dirtbaggiest look you ever seen in your life, bro. And like you just knew like he fucking nutted so hard in his head right there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like bro, like I remember seeing that shit, and ever since then I'm like, this is a creepy motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like
what was that on?
I think it was the fucking Pulp Fiction documentary. I don't know if it's the one that Grim was talking about. I don't know if it's that same one or not, but it's one of those where it tells like the making of or something,
Yeah, I don't know. Hollywood's weird, man. Holly weird.
Very
Yeah.
weird. Well, we're coming up on an hour and 10 minutes here, so we're coming down to our last like 20 minutes or so. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get into about what Quentin's legacy would be going forward now, and what do you think this 10th movie is going to be? Can you look that up, Graham? Do you see any information on this 10th movie?
It's
Um,
about a
here's the thing. Let's just talk about some of this right here.
it's, his new movie's about a
Yeah.
trans that's coming back for revenge on the people that turned him that way.
His films have received numerous nominations for major awards, including Academy Awards, BAFTA Awards, Golden Globe Awards, Directors Guild of America Awards, and Saturn Awards. He has won the award for Best Original Screenplay twice for Pulp Fiction and Django Unchained. He has been nominated 4 times for the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, winning once for Pulp Fiction in '94. In addition to his recognition for writing and directing films, Tarantino has received 5 Grammy Award nominations and a Primetime Emmy Award nomination. 2005, he was awarded the honorary Icon of the Decade at the 10th Empire Awards. He has received Lifetime Achievement Awards from 2 organizations, Cinemanila and from the Rome Film Festival in 2012. In 2011, Tarantino was given an honorary Caesar by the Académie des Arts et Techniques du Cinéma. For his work on Pulp Fiction, Tarantino became the first director to ever sweep the Big Four Critics Awards, LA, NBR, NY, NSFC, and the first of 5 directors, including Curtis Hanson, Steven Soderbergh, David Fincher, and Barry Jenkins, to do so as of 2022.
Did you say he won Grammy Awards also? Or nominated?
Nominated.
What,
Man,
what those were?
Yeah, so
he's
got
he's been to those parties.
I'm just curious because Grammys is music, and I'm like, what the fuck
Because
contribution
the
to music,
the Kill Bill soundtracks.
But like that music is already done without him. He just uses it to, for scenes and whatnot. Like
His name's behind it.
no,
it. It just says that he received 5 Grammy Award nominations.
5? What the fuck? Need to look that shit up. That shit's weird. But as far as like his legacy goes, Doge, what do you think?
Oh, I love like pretty much all his movies except for like probably like I said the Hateful Eight. I like his affiliate movies too that he did. Oh, but you know what I was thinking? Wasn't he affiliated with the Hostels too? Those are kind of sick movies.
Is he? I thought that was
Eli Roth.
Eli
Oh,
Roth.
Eli Roth.
But I'm sure they're homeboys though. Like all these directors are all influenced by each other.
I don't know why it says 5. It only shows 4. And he was nominated for Kill Bill Volume 2, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those were his Grammy Award nominations.
But
Just
what was the category though? Like for best fucking soundtrack?
I don't know. I'm looking right now.
Because that shouldn't be a him award. That should be whoever fucking was the music supervisor or whatever, right?
Don't worry about it, Remo. It's his
It's
awards.
for best compilation visual media. And it is Kill Bill 1, 2, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What?
Best
Did the
compilation-
Django Unchained? I wonder how many awards did that movie win?
It won 2.
What?
Well, it won quite a few. It just depends on each one. It won in best writing. It won It was nominated for Best Picture. It got Best Screenplay, but was nominated for Best Director. It won a Best Original Screenplay, and what else? It was nominated for Best Director. It won Best Original Screenplay, and again, I'm not saying what all award ceremonies these are all from, but it got a Best Original Screenplay and a Best Screenplay. So at the AACTA International Awards and the Academy Awards.
Yeah, man, this dude is fucking. He won everything there is to win, pretty much, you know. And all the actors like all enjoy working with him. They all, you know, relish the opportunities.
But only Christopher Waltz won a Best Actor award for or Best Supporting Actor for Django. He's the only actor who won an award for Django.
Okay.
What? Jamie Foxx didn't win any?
No, in fact, I saw that everybody was nominated. Like all the actors were nominated except for Jamie, and that was fucked up. Yeah, they were saying how fucked up that was.
Dude, that first part where he whips that slave dude in that nice ass suit, that was fucking epic.
The first, is that the opening scene?
I thought for sure I don't know, but I know. Oh man, but that scene was so funny. I was just laughing so hard. I was like, man.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to watch it again. Quentin's
But
got such a crazy body of work, man, and it's all like really good stuff. Like you said, Doge, I'm a big fan of like all the work that I've seen already. There's not a whole lot that I haven't liked. The stuff that I haven't watched it because I'm not really interested. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm not really losing out on any of that stuff. I do want to watch The Hateful Eight. I want to check that one out.
so
What?
I do want to end on that one story. Let me know when we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm trying to kind of say. You know, I think his legacy will be, you know, somebody that changed the game as far as like the way we see movies and the way we watch movies and the way we critique movies. I think that he has influenced so many different aspects of it all that like I think his influence will be seen for generations to come still. You know what I mean? I think he's made that much of an impact. I don't know of any other director in cinema history, even like the big ones, like Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola, and like you know maybe George Lucas or Steven Spielberg. Maybe those guys are the only ones that I think could be, or yeah, Spielberg could be the only one close to it where they made those kind of lasting impacts. You know what I mean with their body of work. So I'm anxious to see what this 10th movie is gonna be. I hope it's fucking badass. I hope it's just as dope as some of the other ones, you know. And we could all be like proud of it, you know, that he ends it on whatever note. As far as him as a person goes, you know, fuck. I hope for good things for people, you know, and for people that like make fucked up mistakes and bad decisions, and people that can technically be called bad people. I hope that they can find whatever it is that is necessary for them to become better and to change and to understand what it is that's necessary to make the changes. And if he is guilty of the things that they've said that he's been guilty of or whatever, I hope for like a rehabilitation. I hope for this dude to have a change of perspective and spirit. And I hope that he, you know, lives the rest of his life in a better way, just like anybody I feel like in that situation would hope to be. So I think that's all I gotta say on Quentin. Um, Go ahead, Grim. I think me and Doge are good, so it's all on you. You got the whole last 10 minutes here.
10 minutes.
Ah,
um,
don't get carried away over there, right?
Okay, how about you
Oh,
take the next like 5 minutes or so, and then we'll do our usual endings. You know?
yeah.
What?
I'm gonna tell that one story is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
told
yeah.
you. But not trying to take away from the credit of his work. And again, like I said, I like a lot of his work. It's just once that other movie came out, Django, it really made me take a look back on his previous work. So that's when I began to notice other things, like things that I've stated in this podcast, as far as the Kill Bill, the Bruce's things. And I mean, that came out again with Once Upon a Time, the Ving Rhames thing in Pulp Fiction, his characters that he's played, all of that stuff was me looking back. But as far as his work goes, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's changed the world. People like it. It causes controversy. It's one of those things that controversy causes people to talk about it.
Controversy creates cash. That's what Eric Bischoff always says.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I got to
that's
give
what
it to George Clooney.
George
Say-
Clooney.
Well done. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was the. Hey, that pretty much jump started his career too.
Kinda. I think that was one of his first starring roles for sure. um, did we quickly want to pick a movie real quick before you go ahead and get into your story, Grim?
Yeah.
Go ahead and pick one.
As far as his, I'm saying Inglorious Bastards.
Doge?
Kill Bill 1.
Oh damn. This is so fucking tough. I feel like
Uh,
out of necessity and out of respect, I feel like I have to say Pulp Fiction. But it's
yeah, but all in general, I like his whole like collection of movies that he's done. I all of them. I'm a fan of all of them.
same. Well, go ahead, Grim. Why don't you go ahead and give us your story here?
So shout out Brandon, my brother. I was talking to him the other day, and he told me a story that I thought was really, just an amazing analogy. But he saw a guy that he trained a while back, and he's working for another company. And my brother basically asked him how it was, and the guy said he liked the people and stuff, but they didn't have another Barham. That's our last name. So he said, "Well, that's my life goal to be a butt wipe." And the dude's like, "What the fuck?" And he says, "We have to look at it as everyone's having a shitty day, and toilet paper only wipes the shit away. If you're a butt wipe, you get rid of the shit and the smell." And so he said that his goal is to be a butt wipe. So I feel like to all our butt wipes out there listening, we salute you.
And we strive ourselves to be butt wipes in our own ways also.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
when, you shared this story with me, when you shared this story with me earlier, Grim, I feel like pressure was on right now. You're a little rushed, you know what I mean? But when you told me the story earlier, it was definitely something that had a very deep, heartfelt sentiment to it, bro. And I love what it represents. You know what I mean? Because it's not only are you there to help people, but you're there to help them and direct them and to like be a part of them, like to be there in the experience with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to do the whole thing and to involve yourself with your whole heart, and your whole being. And I like that, bro, because it's like don't half-ass some shit. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be there, then be there. And I like that. I like that a lot, especially when it comes from your brother, because anybody that knows your brother knows how much heart that dude's got. I love you, Dunis. I miss you, my brother. I hope everything is well with you and your family. But,
Hey, we'll have to get him on here soon.
I mean, we talked about it, Grim, so we'll have to get him on. He'll have to. I imagine he'll be a guest
Hey,
for.
maybe episode 20. He comes
Oh,
with one of the
we're close. We're
yeah, he comes with one of the bangers.
we're 4 episodes away. 3 more. Isn't that crazy?
Damn.
This has just been awesome.
Oh,
A roller coaster for
Right?
sure.
hey, so I sent you the video of, but I wanted, because I talked about it on the last episode about the autographs that I had from Bone.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to show the people I wasn't bullshitting.
Yeah, let's see that. Yeah, show us.
But I brought it down to show everybody. This was the Art of War era. All 5 of them are in there. And there's their different autographs and shit.
Hell yeah. You got all 5 autographs?
No, I was looking at it. I don't, because there's Little Lazy up here. Let me see. There's Lazy up here in the corner. And then that one's Crazy Bone. This one's Wishbone. And this one's Busy Bone. So I don't think I had flesh and bones
I see.
autograph.
Okay.
But flesh is in the picture, like right there.
Yeah. Well, that's badass. I'm glad that you were able to do that to us.
But it was kind of funny because I ordered a couple of T-shirts from the Art of War, and I didn't even know that was gonna come in there. So I opened the package, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I opened, I was like, "Oh, it was that." That to me was worth and stayed with me longer than the T-shirts did. You know, that was worth more than the T-shirts. You know.
Well, that's badass. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey. Oh. So Trip Out too. When that came out, I got to see him, Aaliyah, Mary J. Blige, Genuine, and someone else over there at the, I think it was the Pepsi Center when I first moved to Denver. They're
yeah,
all, it was like one of those, like, you know how they do those radio shows where they just bring a bunch of different artists, like 107.5 used to do it all the time.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so that it was pretty cool. My older cousin Amalia took me and shit, and that was around the same time with that era and all that. I was really hardcore Bone fan studying the art of war then.
Hell yeah. Well, that's dope. Well, that's a nice callback to the last episode. Did you have anything you else wanted to add right now before at the end here, Grim?
No, I think we're good.
We're good. Well, happy belated
Oh,
Father's Day to all the dads out there, to you guys as well. I hope it was good for everybody. Doge, go ahead. What else did you have?
I also wanted to state the fact that Grim was taking layers off from the upper part, but I was taking mine off from the under part.
Oh shit. This guy.
So I'm free balling.
Well, with that being said, check out our brand new Instagram at the Dro Bros Show on Instagram. All 3 of us will be contributing to that page, and you could get a hold of us. We'll probably be doing some of our polls and some of our other interactions. We'll be able to start using that. So check that out. Be on the lookout for our other shows. I got a cool one with my son coming up soon called Slick's Double Cross, and I got some cool artwork to show you guys for it. A lot of good things in the works. So stay tuned, everybody, and thank you for peeping out episode 16 of the Dro Bro Show. We out. Peace.
Like